The following announcement has been paid for by the WZWA Network.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the WZWA Network, and welcome to my review show here of NXT Halloween Havoc Night 2, Halloween Havoc. I'm your host, Karlifornia. Great to be with you all once again, and I am pumped because you know what? NXT right now is my favorite product going in pro wrestling, despite the fact that I pick on NXT quite a little bit, but that's just because of some of the, it's just such an alternate universe, you know what I mean? But look, it was cool that we had 2 weeks of this. I've enjoyed it very much. The show began with Shotzi and Scarlett dressed as Ghostbusters. Never thought I'd find Dan Aykroyd and Bill Murray so attractive in this setting here. And then, of course, the band New Year's Day opened the proceedings with another dope, mean beat, bro. Okay, first matchup here on Halloween Havoc, Night 2. The Creed brothers with Ivy Nile taking on Humberto Carrillo and Angel Garza. I don't even really know how it began between these two teams. I know that they both battled for an NXT tag title shot recently. Perhaps I missed something. But here we go. Early on, the Creeds put them both through a table. This was 24 hours after the Creeds won their WWE Monday Night Raw debut against Alpha Academy, which is a feud everybody expected. They have Ivy Nile. Alpha Academy have Maxine Dupree, dude. She's my number one crush right now. But the Creeds dominated early. Humberto and Angel hit a double press slam onto a ladder across stairs on Julius, which is nuts. And then a crazy move off the top rope to the outside on Brutus through a table. Mental spot, dude. A great missile drop kick by Garza on Brutus, who was sitting on a steel chair. Julius got powerbombed onto a ladder in the corner, and he kicked out. The Creeds, I thought, were going to lose this because I think that they're going to the main roster. I hope to God that they don't just get lost in the shuffle there. I hope to God that they have a plan for where they are at now to within a year, because that tag division still really needs some work. Don't get me started on the women's tag titles. Angel Garza went through a table, on the outside, and it looked like it really hit hard. Brutus and Julius, though, hit the Doomsday Brutus bomb on Carrillo through a table on the outside, or do I meant to say on the inside? Because I'm pretty sure it's on the inside to win the match. There's no way they did that to the outside. That's a typo. So the Creeds win. And I think that they're set now to leave NXT. And finally, what do you know? There's a sighting of Alba Fire and Isla Dawn. They're not in the witness protection program. They're now here in NXT again. How disappointing for them to come back. And it's like, oh, well, there's no tag team titles here. So what are we doing here? Shotzi and Scarlett decided to bow out and allow these ladies to take over and cause some mayhem through the show, even though they didn't really do too much. Joe Gacy cut a promo. I feel like he's become a little bit lost in the shuffle. I know that his grouping has been split up a little bit. I noticed that, oh my God, I forgot her name. I forgot her name. The Rock's daughter. Ava? I think it's Ava. She wasn't with him. So I'm assuming that at some point she's going to be joining the Bloodline, which should probably happen. Anywho, let's move forward. Tiffany Stratton takes on Fallon Henley here. This feud kind of started out of nowhere. And Fallon impersonated Tiffany last week on night 1 of Halloween Havoc, dressed up as her. Tiffany attacked Fallon early, destroyed her knee on the ring post, locked in a figure 4 a la Bret Hart on the ring post. The referee calls it off, and they just rushed the next segment. I'm guessing they were low on time because that was ridiculously short for the amount of time to spend on this segment. It was disappointing for me because it was Tiffy time a few months ago. Now she gets an injury angle for her match on this special. Getting to one of these segments here of Noam Dar and Metaphor at the Haunted House, where apparently Akira Tozawa, who has no place having any sort of contendership for the Heritage Cup trophy, they've gone to try and find the trophy. Why Akira has found this spot is so ridiculous to me, considering he didn't even win one match in the Heritage Cup Invitational. They enter the house and it's scary and they run scared. It's hokey, but it's fun. We've expected this. This has happened the last 3 years now. Here we go. Coming up next, NXT North American Championship. Dominic Mysterio with Rhea Ripley at ringside defends against Nathan Frazer, the loser. He's a loser. Nothing against the actual guy, but his character, I hate him. So over some stupid interaction that these two had 2 or 3 weeks ago, the next week they brawled backstage like they had the biggest hatred for one another in the world. Then Nathan had a segment last week called Hard Hitting Home Truths, which was dismal to build this up. I'm sorry. I really don't like Nathan Frazer's character. I've made that clear. So hopefully Dom wins. Don't get me wrong. Nathan is fast, athletic, but his character's personality annoys the hell out of me. Huge back and forth with these two. Nathan dives to Dom on the outside. He went for a Phoenix Splash, but Dom cut him off. To Frazer's credit, okay, here we go. He hit a swift superplex and showed me some more ability to make the match dramatic. Frazer reversed a 619 attempt with the super kick. Phoenix Splash attempt was foiled as he was shoved off the top rope to the outside and his skull ricocheted off the announce table face first. Bam! Oh, you know how good that felt? You know how good that felt? My God, it will be like the moment that you lock lips and kiss Maxine Dupree. That, oh my God, I just kissed the most beautiful woman in the world. That's the exact same feeling I felt when I saw Nathan Frazer's head get fucking caved in. Frog splash from Dom and he wins. I hope this is over. I think Dom will probably lose the belt next PLE. Just when I thought it couldn't get any worse for Dom with feuding with Nathan Frazer, who do you know shows up? Wesley returns to attack Dom and has sights on the belt, trading one very, very bland babyface for another. Sorry, I don't like Wesley either. It's the way they portray him. I'm sure he's a great guy, but Andre Chase is backstage, with JC Jane. JC wants Andre to help her cheat to win the women's tag titles. Well, that's what happened that helped Chase U become NXT men's tag champs. Andre Chase is not happy with this idea. And of course, Duke Hudson, Thea Hale show up. The conversation ends. Soon after that, though, the family miraculously show up. Hey, Thea, how you fucking doing, Tom? How you fucking doing? And of course, chanting Stacks Lorenzo. They want a rematch. And the segment ends with Alba and Isla Dawn giggling and looking cute, especially Isla. Christ almighty. Isla Dawn is WIFE, wife material, dude. We come back from commercial break and Takara Jackson is scared looking for the Heritage Cup in the haunted house. Scary stuff happens. It's hokey, yet again, it's fun, okay? I let it slide with these guys because it's NXT and they do this stuff all the time. Oro Mensah gets killed by Akira Tozawa. Then it's Lash Legends' turn. She loses her shit and she also gets murdered. That's what happened. They got killed. It's Halloween Havoc. Coming up next, Mr. Stone takes on Bron Breakker. Background for this is Bron caved in the head of the guy who's Mr. Stone's client, Von Wagner, a few weeks ago with steel stairs. Von is still in recovery, but Robert Stone was so mad he challenged Bron to a match this week. For those unaware, and some actually who are big wrestling fans, when I mentioned this to them, they were very surprised. You do realize Robert Stone is Robbie E from TNA, right? He is Robbie E, former X Division champion. Bron beats on Robert early. We got a huge toss from the corner on Robert by Bron. This was a squash. Bron set him up and speared the living shit out of him and won easily. I would have liked it if Robert did a couple of things here. But that's okay. They're getting Bron over and we're setting up for a showdown with Von Wagner and Bron. They could call the match Bron Wagner. Von Wagner came out after as Bron went to do to Robert what he did to Von. Von chokeslammed Bron onto the steel stairs. Then Bron escaped Von doing the same thing to him. He was going to cave his head in as well. And I'm sure this will blow off at NXT Deadline. They're going to wrestle next week, but I'm sure there's going to be a rematch. then I think it's time for Braun to get to the main roster. It's about time. It's almost like it's pointless him being there. Out the mud, the team have a promo. They're a new grouping in NXT. They've been around a while. They state their claim on what they want to do next in NXT. Very cookie cutter, very bland. But you know what? I like the grouping. I like the kind of GTA 5 kind of influence they have with their entrance video. Let's move forward again. WWE Women's Tag Team Championships, Chelsea Green, Piper Niven take on Thea Hale and JC Jane. Lazily, last week, Chelsea and Piper just walked up to Chase U right near the end of the show, by the way. They've been there all night, apparently, to antagonize them as they celebrated. And Thea and JC challenged them for the titles tonight on week 2. Imagine that they didn't do that. Imagine that they were there, they saw them, they just thought not to bother them. Then they wouldn't have been stuck in this situation now defending their tag titles. That, again, is like, it's the lowest form of forming an angle possible is just by having people walk up to someone else backstage. I talk about it all the time when people are being interviewed. They just walk up to them, and then now we have a match because of that. That's fucking shit. Fucking think a bit harder about it. That is like a child could come up with that. Fucking hire me. Hire me. I'm telling you, I would sit in that room and be like, no, we can't do that. No. I wouldn't do that probably because I'd probably be very intimidated, but I'm going to pretend. No, you can't do that. No, we do that all the time. No, everything has to be different from now on. We're going to find different ways to start these scenarios. No more cookie cutter bullshit. Thank you. Anywho, Thea and JC attack the champions during their entrance. They dominate early as we hit the commercial break. Thankfully, on Binge, which is our version of Peacock, they cut out the commercials. Piper was in charge of Thea, but Mr. Cannonball, thanks for Thea, and they tried to overpower Thea. Sorry, she tried to overpower Thea, but copped a DDT. Hot tag to JC Jane, who hit her own cannonball to Chelsea. JC and Chelsea, as far as I'm concerned, in the very limited time that they had in the ring together, worked very well together. I could see there was chemistry. JC goes to cheat with Andre's title belt, but Andre won't let it happen because he's a little bitch. And I'm Prettier by Chelsea. I know that Vic called her an unprettier, but she calls it the I'm Prettier because that makes sense, because that's who she is. And the women's tag team champions retain. Thank God they finally got to defend the belts. Why even have it? Why even have it? There are more women's tag teams in NXT. You got Chance and Carter up there. They haven't done shit. They've just been on WWE main event. Chelsea and Piper have had the belts for a little bit since Sonya got injured. They haven't even defended the titles. Ronda is gone, so Shayna's, I don't know what the fuck she's doing now. Isla Dawn and Alba Fire, they're here now, but like they just don't know what they're doing. Like if I was a creative, I'd be like, you know what? Don't include me in anything else. Don't include me in anything. Allow me to have control over one segment of NXT a week, one segment on WWE TV, on SmackDown or Raw or whatever, and I will control what happens with the women's tag team titles, okay? Let's do something there. Let's fucking finally think of some stories and get some teams together that actually stick together and don't break up as soon as they lose the titles. Anywho, the story with JC and Andre continues. This is about who the heel and babyface is during the story with JC and Chase U. So I'm sure JC is going to try and make Chase U turn to the dark side. Lexus King has an interview with Mackenzie Mitchell. He's dressed exactly like his father. It's hilarious. Good little promo. I thought it could have been, the verbiage could have been better, but look, I think he did the best he could with what he was given. But I did pop for the fact that he looks exactly like his father, even though he denounced him. NXT Women's Breakout Tournament Finals here. Next, Kalani Jordan and Lola Vice. This has been built for weeks now, and I knew from day dot Lola and Kalani were the super obvious choices for the finals because Lola was working with Elektra, and I could just tell with Kalani that she's just very, very talented and she's very marketable. I did think to myself, though, could we not get through the finals without an advert break? We had to go to that advert break very early on in the match. typical kind of back and forth here between these two. I thought Kalani surely would get the win because, again, I think she's got that marketability with her. The viewing room was shown with everyone like going, yeah, like it's so fake and annoying. Kalani hits a move that I call the high voltage. I know a lot of people call the overdrive, but she hits it in a way that's different to MVP or Elix Skipper when he hit that move called the play of the day. How nerdy is that I remember the Elix Skipper's theme song? Finishing move was called the play of the day. Unbelievable. But the high voltage is my version of it that I actually came up with before I ever saw MVP or do the overdrive or Randy Orton do the overdrive or the play of the day by Elix Skipper. Instead of like holding them by the wrist and winding them up for it, you hook the arm. You hook the arm just behind the shoulder and you do a snap kind of bump on it. But you should also go down with it instead of just kind of like standing up. You need to like go with it. It really does. It really is effective. And I got it over when I used it. So I don't care. Anyway, Elektra got involved and then Lola Vice hit a spin kick after interrupting Kalani on the, I guess she went off the ropes and Elektra's interference got too messed up for Kalani. Excuse me, I'm sorry. It's 10:30 at night. I'm kind of stumbling over my words. Lola hit that spin kick, and damn, I was wrong. Lola Vice wins the NXT Women's Breakout Tournament. The sky is the limit for both young ladies. They both have the it factor. Although I think Kalani is a lot more marketable. I do kind of feel like Lola is almost like, this sounds rude, a dime a dozen. I don't mean it, but I feel like I've seen that character a few times in my time. Obviously, Kalani doesn't really have a defined character yet. She's kind of like a bit of clay that you could mold into something. But I see the cuteness and how little girls will look at her and be like, oh, she's so pretty. She's like a princess. I want to be like her. Whereas Lola, like, I want to see something else from her. I want to see something that makes her stand out. And if she ever sees this, come on, Lola, do something. The very next promo, I want to see the promo of your life. I want to see you dig real fucking deep, love, and show the whole world exactly why you are the NXT Women's Breakout Champ. Okay. Noam Dar is again at the haunted house as we cut back to that. And he finds his stupidly large and heavy trophy, and he's so glad to find it. And he even licks it and like bites it to see if it's real and not made of chocolate. This was also cheesy because when all the ghouls and the weirdos showed up, he went, "Ruh-roh," and he was dressed as Scooby-Doo. Fuck you, Noam. Fuck you, bro. You popped me with that. He's given to Zawa a title shot next week so he can get his trophy back. He gets given his trophy. And then he got eaten alive. So now Noam Dar is dead. Robert Stone and Von Wagner backstage screaming about Bron Breakker. Von is screaming, who wants to fight Bron next week, even though he's not ready. And he still has like bandages around his skull. He gets so mad that his skull aches. I'm sure this will play into the character where his skull might ache and it might be like a Festus thing where he goes insane afterward. I don't know. I don't know. Just not involving a fucking ring bell. Anyway, NXT Championship match for the main event of the evening here. Ilya Dragunov takes on Carmelo Hayes. Ilya took that NXT Championship from Carmelo at No Mercy, I believe, and has already successfully defended it over him once. This is now the third and hopefully final battle between these two. The fans during Ilya's entrance mimicking his conducting is so messed up. It's messed up, dude. It's like when people during Joe Gacy's entrance are like, fuck, man. I'm like, oh, man, I want to hit you. The match begins. Here we go. Here's the rant on Ilya Dragunov. The way Ilya Dragunov wrestles, he moves, takes moves, lays shots in. He is completely different to any other wrestler going today. He shows so much intensity. When he first came to NXT, I thought to myself, oh, he'll probably be in the upper mid card. You know, he won't ever get to that upper echelon because he seems like he looks like just a generic, like strong style indie wrestler. And I've been proven wrong. Now I see him as 100% a top guy in the professional wrestling business. He puts his whole body into every clothesline, every strike, every maneuver. When he's hit with something, he goes so full force into it. It's unbelievable. Melo hesitates here and there. This is the story of the match. And each time he did, Ilya took advantage. Ilya copped an insane in the membrane, insane in the brain, DDT on the ring apron. And the way he sold it was like he had been bludgeoned, like he'd been shot with a gun. These two have some great chemistry. As far as Melo goes, as much as I make fun of the way his character has been portrayed or how I could never get into him during his North American title reign, the guy really has shown how capable he is to wrestle a main event style match. He's done it so many times. He's gone 20 plus minutes. Props to fucking him. Okay. Death Valley Driver on the apron by Ilya, who was screaming in pain just as much. He put himself on the line just to hurt Melo. Ilya hit a massive H-bomb on Melo through the announce table, and I laughed at Booker T losing his headset during this moment. Oh, yeah. Dragunov caught the lung blower, ended up copping one, then he hit an H-bomb on landing. So he caught it, he went to pick him up, he got hit with one, and then on the way down, he hit that H-bomb, which is a really cool move. It's very different. Hayes caught Ilya in another lung blower and went to the top rope to try and finish him off. And then what do you know? Trick Williams comes out looking pissed off. So you know that we're going to get to the conclusion of this story between the two and who attacked Trick during the number one contenders match a few weeks ago. Ilya cuts off Melo, who's on the top rope, who's looks like he's seen a ghost with Trick Williams at ringside, hits a superplex, then the Torpedo Moscow, and it ends it. Dragunov 3-0 against Melo. I loved that during a main event match, an important main event. This is the third match, the rubber match. Melo can't get a shot after this, surely. I love that there will be someone on production that would see Trick just walking through and be like, oh, well, I better play his theme song. It's like right in the dying moments of a match. Why would that ever be allowed to happen? But this is wrestling. This is the NXT world that we are dealing with. So Ilya retains as expected. Trick stares down at Carmelo, who was recovering in the ring. He got in the ring. He picked Melo up quite aggressively. And as that happens, we come to hear some commotion. As Dragunov has gone backstage, he's attacked by Baron Corbin, who is holding the NXT Championship over Ilya's face. We go off the air. That's a cliffhanger. That's how you end a show. Very good show. I'm giving this one an 8 out of 10. Well done, NXT, for Halloween Havoc Night 2. I think Night 2 just slightly beat Night 1. And I had fun watching it, man. And again, I think NXT is the best product going right now. There's really nothing that's close. I mean, I say that, but I do enjoy Impact Wrestling, but I think that they are very safe at the moment. And they need to start really pushing the envelope when they become TNA wrestling again. Cole Vince Russo. Maybe MLW needs to look at the way that they're doing things, because Jooseyboy is a bit confused about that on our Slam Society Patreon, which he reviews every week. NWA Power is what it is, but we'll see what happens when they go onto the CW network. And I don't watch anything else. So there we have it, 8 out of 10. Karlifornia, WZWA Network. Please check out the WZWA Slam Society, bro. $3 a month for Americans, $5 a month for Australians. That's just the way it works, bro. But you get all these reviews. You get NWA Power, you get Impact Wrestling, you get NXT. Unless it's a special, that goes on the YouTube channel. You're supposed to get WWE Main Event, NXT Level Up, all these other different things, as well as stuff from our video game playthroughs, stuff that won't make our YouTube channel, etc., etc., and also extra reaction videos that are a little bit copyrighted. Thank you for joining me here for the WZWA Network and my review show here of NXT Halloween Havoc Night 2. Karlifornia, looking fucking sexy, bro. See you down the road. Thank you.
Network, that's the way we play. Good God Almighty. Network, that's the way we play. Get puppies. Network, that's the way we like it.
The following announcement has been paid for by the WZWA Network.